because of my inferiority complex, I truly believe I deserve nothing at all. I do recognize that I need me time. For the longest time, I was slave to work and slave to doing for others, right? But, looking at studies and what they found was that if you don't take time to recharge and reboot yourself, then you're no longer as effective as you should have been. And so what I need once in a while is me time. What I deserve? Nothing.
Hello and welcome back to Open House, where every conversation opens a new perspective. I'm your host, Durga. Today's guest needs no introduction. He's brought us laughter as the iconic Phua Chu Kang. The curly hair, the yellow boots, and of course, the Don't Pray Pray have all become part of our national memory. It's an absolute honor to have him here with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Gurmit Singh.
Hey.
How does it feel to be 60?
No different, actually. Now, finally, my age is the same as my IQ, which is great, Now, they say that age is just a number, which is true if you think about it. And I think it's a healthy mindset to have because you don't want to be bogged down by unnecessary worry and anxiety. Like, oh my God, I turned 90, I'm going to be 40. Oh my God, I'm 41 now. Yeah, you're 41, but nobody says that your 41 is the same as everybody else 41. But no, truthfully, it's begun to sink in because it takes me longer to recover. In the past, when I've finished hosting a dinner and dance, for example, 4 hours standing, playing games, shouting, screaming, dancing and all have you, finish, I can go out with the guys for supper, we can laugh and all that. But no, I'm tired, and I can't recover the next day. I recover in 2 days' time or 3 days' time sometimes. And psychologically, whether I like it or not, I also have come to realize and embrace that I have fewer years left. When I was born, the lifespan of a Singaporean was 60. Today, the lifespan of a Singaporean is 85. So, if you want to be really cut and dry, I only have 25 years more to live.
Oh my God, that sounds very somber.
Every time you go away. Yeah, it does, So sometimes it hits me like, tong, like somebody hitting my helmet. And, 25 years left. Better make do and make good of whatever little time I have in terms of work, in terms of family, in terms of anything, just being out there. And, we are all people and we meet people, we interact, and we try to be the best version of ourselves as much as we can.
So how has your viewpoint of life changed? Like, a 30-year-old Gurmit and now a 60-year-old.
It hasn't changed much. If anything, did I say much? It hasn't changed much. Because if anything, it's strengthened my belief. Ever since I can remember, I always embrace and treat life as a very precious commodity. But now that I'm older, even more precious, right? I've asked my friends and people that I meet, we're having dinner chats and all that. Like this question I ask: would you like to live up to 100 healthily, or would you like to be immortal, still healthy? And 9.999% say 100. Why? Yeah. Wouldn't you like to be immortal? Everyone said, boring, man. So long, you live long, live and live and live and live and live and live. I said, but for me, I would love it because just Earth alone, you have so little time to see the entire planet.
Yeah, so many.
People talk about bucket list, right? Go visit this, go visit that, go and see this and take picture with that, all that. Planet Earth already is so difficult in one lifetime. You think about the planets now, and we are thinking about multi-planetary civilization and how we can travel, right? I'm coming across as a science nerd because I am. I love the James Webb Telescope findings. I look out for it in my social media. It's like, you see this planet, you see this cluster, and then there's a cluster. But there's this, now they found, James Webb Telescope found this, of all the billions and trillions of stars, there's this lobang.
Oh.
Like one star farted and they all... oh my God, dude. And there's just nothing there. And it's not like a small, 5 kilometers. No, it's millions and millions of light years apart. And people are wondering, why? Why is there a hole there? And I want to know also why.
Right.
And if I'm not immortal, I will never find out unless they now
they figure it out.
So things like that. So I would love to be immortal if I can.
So what's on your bucket list? Do you have one?
My bucket list I had when I was 50, which was to take my motorbike license.
Which you have?
Which I have. And it's such an experience. And Keanu Reeves is one of those who would advocate biking because it's a different experience. And I like to think that when I put on my helmet, I'm in my own space. And being me, if I walk down the street, hey Gurmit, which is fine. I feel like an MP. Yeah, you vote for me, yeah. Okay, general election's coming.
Maybe you should.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Idea.
Idea.
Vote for
But
you.
when I put on my helmet, nobody can see it's me. And it's so cool.
And it's a moment to like hide away
Yes.
for yourself.
Yeah. So my sanctuary is the bike, is the car, and the house. That's where I can really just shut down and not have to entertain or perform or be wary of anyone around me. To give you a story example, many years ago, I was at a food center. I was between projects. I was having a quick lunch, char kway teow. And when you eat, you just eat, right? Somebody came along and said, hey, Gurmit. I said, hey, hi. Why are you so sad? Why are you so angry? I said, what? Oh, I'm just eating char kway teow. Smile a bit lah. Why you like that? Then walk off.
Because you didn't smile at them.
Oh no, because I didn't smile, eating. So I'm like, okay. I see where they come from because they know this side of me only. That this is Gurmit, the joker, the prankster, the larger than life persona. And so they expect me to be there all the time, right? And then when I'm not, they think, oh, he must be sick. Or he must be pissed off. Or he must be angry or something. So I've learned that I cannot show other emotions. When I'm out there, I have to be that Gurmit Singh that I used to, the TV Gurmit Singh. Yeah.
Like Phua Chu Kang.
Like Phua Chu Kang. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So-
So a lot of times when I go through customs, hey, Phua Chu Kang, don't pray, yeah. Then I have to say like, hey, don't pray. Then they, that's
But
cute,
does it
lah.
ever get tiring for you? Like, do you ever struggle to just be Gurmit?
No, I don't. For the longest time now, I've embraced that this is part of my work. It's part of my job. And I think it's a nice part of the job scope. Because when I go around, people are laughing and smiling at me. So it suddenly dawned on me that, I can make or break your day. And I want to, if I can, make your day, of course, So I like to think that, I have this responsibility. And it's a great thing because now when I go, people are smiling at me. I do get tired from it, not of it, because you can only smile so much, right? So I have this system where if I'm not up to par, I'm not well, or my mind is somewhere else, and I don't feel like entertaining people and all that, then I tell myself, don't get out of the helmet, don't get out of the car, or don't get out of the house. Just stay.
Because the moment you leave the house, people recognize you.
I'm public property.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. People think that's a bit too harsh to be labeled, but you think about it, the people who pay my career, who pay for my family's food on the table, it's not a TV station, it's not a podcast, it's the audience. As long as they demand for me, I have a job. If they don't want to watch me, I have no job. So I always find it that it's important for us artists to remember that at the end of the day, the paymaster is your audience. Not the TV station, not the finance department. It's just a channel, but the audience is the one.
Right. So now let's go back to the
Go back.
very...
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, okay. Let's go back to the very beginning to your childhood. Yes.
When I was born.
Yeah, when you were a child, right? So you grew
No,
up...
I wasn't. I was born like that. I came out like that from Amazon Prime.
You had a Sikh father, right?
Yes.
And a Chinese, Japanese mom.
Yes.
So how was that like, your childhood? Did you face any identity crisis?
I'll tell you this. I did not know this heritage until 2001. Dun, 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 dun. We'll take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. With the results
I'm shocked.
You're shocked. Good. I'm
How
glad.
did you not know?
Because we're not told of our real heritage. So growing up, I did struggle with the way me and my two sisters looked. Because when we go to the temple, when we go to the church, when we go to different events, and we look around, especially temple, I don't know like the other, Singh boys, the Pai, that. Like, what's going on? And then my sisters don't look like the other Punjabi girls too. And I remember asking my mom, why do we look like what we do? Don't look very Punjabi-ish. And my mom, when I was in primary school, she said, oh, we are from the north part of India. And as I grew older, I said, no, that's not true. Because I knew it was... Then I learned about birth certificate. Will show, right? Your race and all that. So I said, Mom, show me your birth cert. I'm on to you now. You're not telling me the truth. Show me your birth cert. I open the birth cert, I see Indian. I say, oh man, dead end again. Then I found out during her time and the time before her, when you go register your race and everything, right? Your birth cert, everything, you write it yourself.
Oh.
Yeah, the clerk doesn't write it for you.
I see.
So they just put Indian. So I was stumped. So what happened was that in 2001, my mom passed away from cancer. And then my dad got us, me and my two sisters, and said, okay, I got to tell you something. So during the Japanese occupation, there's a Chinese lady who's walking along the beach with a laundry basket. And coming towards her is a Punjabi man. Hello, hello, they say to each other. And then they hear a baby crying out loud. And to the man's surprise, it's the baby in the laundry basket underneath all the laundry. And he says, why you put baby like that? And she said, this baby, the father is a Japanese soldier. I don't want it. I'm going to put it here on the beach. Either someone take or let it die. So the Punjabi man had just gotten married and his wife medically can't bear him children. So he said, let me have the child. I'll treat her as my own. And she said, take her. And that baby was my mother. So when she was growing up, she found out about this. My mother was bitter to the end. She like, how could a mother do that?
Abandon
a baby, you know. As far as she was concerned, she had no Chinese mother or whatever, no Japanese father. This Indian Punjabi family that adopted her, they were the real parents. So she stuck with that story. And that's why she didn't want to talk about it at all.
Because she felt rejected.
Very rejected, very betrayed. To know that your mother, your flesh and blood, will just throw aside. So she didn't want to share that. So only 2001, then okay, now it makes sense. So I'm half Punjabi, quarter Chinese, quarter Japanese.
I see. Right.
Hence.
Hence.
Edit, hence.
Now, have you growing up, like, because even though you didn't know, you sort of had an inclination that, did you ever have an inclination that you're a bit different, like?
For sure. I mean,
in the 70s, 80s?
Not just in my looks, but also, I think we all go through that, especially when you hit teenager, right? When you're 14, 15, you start seeking your identity. What am I? Am I a cool guy? Am I a nerd? Am I a soccer player? What am I? Who is in my clique? Who can I click with? And I think we all go through it. I went through that as well, you know. And so I was always very, very active in school. I joined the National Police Cadet Corps. I was the commander of the squad. And I took part in a lot of sports. I took part in a lot of society stuff. I was the debater. I was in the harmonica club. I was a Malay dancer.
That's a lot.
A lot. Yeah. I really...
Put yourself out there.
Yeah, I just went for it. Because I also knew at that time that I wasn't good in school. I wasn't good academically. You know, the grades showed. So I knew that I wouldn't excel in that path. But I was hoping that either, you know,
one of it would
music or sports or something will get me somewhere. Or performance. I will perform in every concert in school. You know, like your high-rise concert, your Teachers' Day concert, your Children's Day concert. I'll be up there either as a singer, a dancer, or a compere. Something, you know.
So it's always been in you.
Kind of, yeah. I kind of enjoyed it, you know. It was an escape for me, you know, to find somewhere. I think all of us, even when we are adults, we are always looking for somewhere where we can have a sense of self-worth, right? If you are in a place where nobody is giving you a thumbs up or a pat on the back or even a smile, you die very quickly inside, you know, and you just want to get out of that hellhole, right?
What were some of your most memorable performances as a kid? Like,
well, the very first one, which I was forced to do, was kindergarten. I kid you not, it was year 1, and suddenly we were whisked away to go upstairs. I remember this because I was traumatized. I was so traumatized because they took off my clothes. Then they used crepe paper to wrap around me. I was like, what the hell is going on? Is this a hostage situation? Of course, I didn't think like that. I was very small, 6 years old only. Then we were told to walk down. And then we were holding gifts. We were reenacting Jesus, baby Jesus with 3 wise men. But nobody told me anything. I didn't get any email. I'm just walking around. Everybody's looking at me. I'm half naked, my crap paper coming off, and it's like I'm holding this. Okay, so that was my real solo performance. Then in secondary 1, we had a Teachers' Day concert. And my teacher, my cikgu said, you know, let's do a performance. Maybe somebody play on piano, rest of the class and sing along. And the song was Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley, Hang Down Your Head and Cry. Very easy song, right? And there is a girl classmate who is grade 8 pianist. But the cikgu, Gurmit, why don't you play? What?
The piano?
I don't play the piano. So he said, she will teach you lah. So I learned one hand. Tang, 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 tang. They sing along. Tang, 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 tang. And on the day of performance, so nervous. And I start playing one hand. I have a picture of me with one finger like that and another one just like that. And I'm wearing a turban and all. And then I remember the day the earth stood still. Dang, 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 dang. Dang, 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 dang. And the whole choir is just waiting. But when do we come in? Oh my goodness.
How old were you?
I was 13 years old.
13.
Secondary one.
But it taught you
Perseverance.
perseverance.
Whatever happens on stage, the show must go on.
And
Which is true, because if anything happens on stage, you must go on. And now, being a host and MC for things, when there's a live show, you have to do that.
So when did you recognize that you had this calling to act, to create, and to make people laugh? Like, when was that moment you're like, okay, I really need to do this. I really need to.
So when I went into national service, I was ready to sign on. I was like, yes, I can be that guy who goes camping and struggle in the jungle and all that, because I love the outdoors. I love getting mud all over my face and body, and I love sweating, and I just smell grass, eat shit, and what? Can I say that? I did.
Yeah,
I
you
just
can,
said that.
you
Okay. I was ready to sign on. Then my best friend sent me a message, said, hey, there is an audition for music and drama company. I said, what's that? Oh, it's a performance thing. You go and perform for other soldiers. I said, what? Got such thing? Okay, let's go audition. And I was selected. So changed vocation, became a performer in music drama company. While we were in music drama company, we would sometimes do outside events, gigs, like backup dancers and all that. And while I was doing one of those backup dancers for 𝙤𝙤𝙚𝙧𝙚, Bishna Garden and all the singers, somebody saw me and said, hey, we would like to use you for an event. We want someone who can do robotics, who could do breakdance. Yeah. So they want somebody robotic to then escort the then Prime Minister 𝙤𝙤𝙗𝙗 from his table to the podium, finish his speech, come back again, go up again to give awards, come down again, that's it. So I wore a robot costume and I walked with him and all that. So they were very impressed. Then somebody at that dinner saw me and said, hey, that guy is good. He was an entertainment manager for the up-and-coming Haw Villa, not open yet. So he approached me and said, hey, you're pretty good. Let's get you in when you finish national service. So on the day I finished my national service, I went into Haw Villa and I got into a lion costume called Jazzo. The idea was me and my compare will go to different primary schools, even secondary schools, and then we will sing jazzed up version of folk song like Chan Mali Chan, Di Tanjung Katong, Munero Valiba and all that. But one of these days, the host hurt her back playing tennis in the weekend before. And the manager came on Monday morning and said, Gurmit, I need you to come out of the costume. You'll be the host. I said, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. And I started doing it. I started enjoying it, to the point where as a host, I had to set up my own, microphone stand and speakers, run the cable yourself to the middle of the school hall and all that, and test the mic. And when the kids are coming in and testing the mic, I wouldn't just do a normal mic test. I wouldn't say, hello, testing 1, 2. I would say, hello, testing 1, 2. Hey, too much, the treble too much. Then the kids start laughing. So I have an idea of what my audience is like. Are they like very somber, or they've been persecuted so long that they can't have any more joy in this?
These were primary school kids?
Primary school kids. And I can see, okay, this bunch is all that. And I started doing that. Then when I was performing in Haw Villa, there was a musical that we did where I played the baddie, chief of the baddies, and we'll run into the crowd and we'll grab 4 people up on stage. And the crowd is tourists, can be anybody, Singaporean or tourists. And then because we were looking for the damsel and we can't find the damsel, so we interrogate them. So I would have to interact like that, on the spot. There's no script for that, right? And when the show finished, one of these shows finished, someone came forward and she was a producer from SBC then. Television. And she said, you're very quick on your feet. You should do a live show on TV. And I said, oh, okay, sure. Thanks. And that was it. I was like, okay, I guess that's it lah. Thanks for the compliment. Won't hear about it. 4 years later, somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew my sister. Then she texted me and said, hey, there's this phone number, call them. They want to audition you for some...
Was that Live on 5?
That was Live on 5.
So you spent 4 years at Haw Villa, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you feel like, because it's not an easy industry as well.
Acting,
because
sure.
like you mentioned, you say that it fell into place, but I think, you work subconsciously, you're working towards it as well, right?
Right.
So I'm sure a lot of them out there, they want to work towards a passion. So like, what would you say to them? Like, not to give up? Because sometimes certain passion is hard, or they do things that they don't enjoy. So what would you say to those?
Well, there are a few things. One is that if you want to do something, you must enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, you won't last long. If you look at the hours that we put in, and many young ones have come into the industry, into the station, thinking that I get in here, I do one show, I get endorsements, I get free things, I go to parties, and I'm famous.
Lifestyle.
No, you have endless hours of rehearsals, failures because you didn't get the right role, the project was wrong, long hours of shooting indoors, outdoors is even worse. You are in a hot sun, but you're wearing a suit. You have to pretend like it's not affecting you at all, but your underwear is totally wet. And you just continue saying, this is a nice weather, we should go out more often. You have to do all that. And I remember one time, because we have a live audience every Friday for PCK, the show, the sitcom. I remember one time there was a CC that brought in some people, and then the leader said, okay, everybody sit down. So the show will start at 8 o'clock recording. It's a half an hour on TV, so by 8:30 we'll be done. Then we all, huh? And the producers and all turn around, no. You'll be here till 10 o'clock. We'll shoot for 2 hours. And even then it's quick, We will shoot, and then if we can get most of it done in front of the audience, we'll move on to the next scene. But once they leave, we stay on to do parts that we didn't get it right.
Quite get.
And before that, on that very day, before they came at 8 o'clock, we've been there since 10 in the morning, rehearsing, blocking, and sometimes shooting more the technical shots, technical scenes, so that when they come to the studio, they can see the entire episode. And those that have been pre-recorded while they were not here, we show them on the TV screen so they can continue the story and enjoy the entire episode. And before even that one day on Friday that we shoot, we've been rehearsing for 4 days.
Before the actual filming.
From 10 to 4, 10 to 4. So 10 o'clock, first day, Monday, sit down, we get a script, we start reading. Read, read. I don't understand it. What's this? I don't understand. Oh, I see, okay. And then we reshuffle line, maybe with somebody put in 10 cents worth, 2 cents worth, whatever. Then after that, we do, after that, break for lunch. Then we come back and then we say, okay, now let's do some blocking. Director will say, okay, maybe Chu Kang, you stay here, Chu Beng, you stand there, and then let's do this across the sofa. And it's a rehearsal room. But we don't have all the sofas and all that. It's just imaginary. So that when we get to the studio on Friday, then we the sofa is here, wrong place. Alamak, I thought it was there. Yeah. So you fine tune, you tweak again. So it's so much work. But it's so fun if you like it.
Were you ever worried, like when you were filming it, that you were not funny enough, or when you don't get a reaction from the audience?
As a comedian, or actually as a performer, we are always, I myself am always worried about not having a reaction from the crowd, whether it's drama, whether it's comedy, whether if I sing a song, will people love my voice, or they'll go like, oh my God, let's leave the room now. I'm always fearful of that. So I have always told myself that I got to give me my 110 whenever I do whatever I do. I cannot always think that, because I won 1 ATV Awards or 2 ATV Awards or 5, I am okay. I'm done for life. No, every show is different because every show has different audience. Yes. I am always very nervous before any show. Even coming here, I was nervous. Because I don't know you. I don't know your audience. I don't know who these people look like mafia.
No, they're all staring you down. It's like, you better say the right
firing squad. Can I take my passport now? My passport picture. So for me, every audience is different, and therefore I have no idea how it will turn out. Then before I go on stage I just pray and say, God, please bless this and please make this work. And if it doesn't work, then it's part of your will and I must embrace it and then go on. And I remember one time when I was doing something, and then this young artist came to me and said, Gurmit Singh, so nice to work with you. I'm quite new to this, so I'm very, very nervous. I hope you can guide me. And I said, I also very nervous. Then he, what?
Nervous.
Why are you nervous? You're a veteran. You're a goat or whatever you call them. And I said, no, I'm nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. Then it bothered me, that why am I still nervous? Why am I not getting my act together? Then one day, epiphany, light bulb. I realize I'm nervous because I care. If I didn't care less about all this, about them, about you, I just waltz in here and do my thing and not be... Can you imagine an interview like that? And I answer monosyllabically. Yes, no,
Because
I couldn't care less. But because I care, people have tuned in, have maybe paid money, have made the effort to come in here and watch this. I need to offer something, right? I need to do my best so I don't waste their time. And I think that's why I'm nervous. So I thought, okay, so now I can be nervous. I don't mind being nervous. At first I thought I'm such a loser.
Okay, so now we come to Phua Chu Kang, right? You touched on a little
Should
bit.
I start talking like Phua Chu Kang all the way
Can
now?
also. Okay, so before that I have to tell you a story. So,
Can you tell me?
Okay, I tell you. So, in 96, we moved...
96?
96.
Oh, 1996?
1996, okay. We moved into our HDB.
You all stay in one HDB?
Wow, yeah, all of us.
Wow, big family.
Not born
Big
yet.
family.
I was 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, very young. So, right, new HDB, they always have a lot of contractors.
Correct.
At the block, they're looking
At the
for...
void deck because want to get client
Correct.
customer.
Then
Right.
we hired one. My parents hired one, right?
Didn't hire me Very
You're
lewd,
not
very lewd.
there. You're not there, ma.
I was a different estate. I went to Bedok.
Not there. But we don't know his name until today. We named him Phua Chu Kang.
How can you don't know his name? Never give name card.
He got give name card, but
Then-
we always forget. So we name him Phua Chu Kang. Easier to remember, ma. So you're iconic.
Wow, look at that.
Iconic.
Wait. That means somebody
He's
else.
still your business.
That's why. Hey, cannot. Hey, call my royal to call your royal. Basket.
He also got curly hair, but his boots different color lah.
Why leh? What color is?
His boots like white color.
Oh, that one know what you call loser. White color for what? You stupid. You
Yeah.
went to construction site. You wear white color.
Yeah.
Mother
And
never
he
teach
don't
you. Your
have
mother
the mole,
don't have the more. Then forget it.
but he got the fingernail.
We all must have fingernail. You know why the fingernail must be long or not?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
So the Chinese one, we all think, if your nail is long until the second one last is longer, the last one is longer than the second last one. The longest one is the longest, the last one is longer than the second last. Means long life.
Huh? Really?
So we try to keep long. The longer, the better.
So I die already lah.
Not sad lah, Choi. You can grow tomorrow lah. Start growing, don't cut nails now. But that one is Chinese one lah. Chinese, you rabbit
Yeah, a rabbit.
Hey, got carrot or not? Give her carrot.
So now I want to ask you, right? You know, when Phua Chu Kang first came out, people say that the way you talk, the way you say things, your language,
Singlish.
the Singlish. So the language use and behavior,
Yep.
example, right?
Yep.
Some of them are concerned, like how
Yep.
it influenced the younger audience.
Yes.
So did that concern you? Like, or did you
Sure.
feel like you had the responsibility as the character to correct them? Or did you feel like that's part of who we are? Singlish is sort of part of who we are.
I'll start by saying that I'm an advocate of Singlish. Because for the longest time, right, Singapore has been trying to find an identity. I remember growing up and then, there'll be competitions like, what can we say is Singapore? Truly quintessential Singapore. This is Singapore, without a doubt. Singlish isn't.
Yes.
And I think people got the wrong side of the language. Singlish, I find, is a beautiful representation of the racial harmony that has grown from the Industrial Revolution that we had. We were all from different races, Malay, English, Chinese, Indian and all. We all had to communicate. And how do we communicate? Because you know Malay, you know Tamil, you know English. We need a central language. Roja, Chapalang. And that's where Singlish was born. And I think it's beautiful that how this language got all of us together to be able to build this country where it is today. The problem was that people felt that, but Gurmit, we talk like this, then after that we go and meet the Ang Moh in America, then we talk like this, they look down on us. That is the Americans' problem, not my problem. For many of us, we can switch one.
Code switch,
right? We can speak proper English. And it is the ultimate duty of a parent and a teacher to guide the kids. Because somebody wrote into the papers and complained. My child and I were watching Phua Chu Kang. It's quite a good show. But I went away to take care of something in the kitchen. Then when I come back, I find my child talking Singlish like Phua Chu Kang. Don't pray and all that. It's very disturbing for us to know that our children are being brainwashed by this show. Wow.
Brainwashed?
That's
wow.
Wait, I'm just doing a show for entertainment. If you left the kitchen and then he became like that, that's your problem. You go and educate him or her. I'm not forcing you to watch. And we didn't even claim that this show is an educational show. It's just a half an entertainment. But how many times I have been DM'd on social media and said, bro, when I was growing up, I just rushed your show because I wanted to not think about the world and just watch your show and escape. I even got this DM and this lady recently texted me. She said, when I was going through chemo, I was going through cancer, and I had so much pain, your show made me smile during chemotherapy. So to each his own, right? My point is that if you know something is wrong, you can do something about it. But don't just do a blanket and say, okay, Phua Chu Kang cannot speak English anymore, can't Singlish anymore.
You mentioned the lady earlier about the chemotherapy, right? So it shows that the character that you played, Phua Chu Kang, was beyond the screens, really. It touched people's hearts. And that responsibility that you held. Did it ever overwhelm you? Like, did you ever feel like, wow, I'm holding so much?
No, if anything, it felt like a privilege. That here's this Gundu with an IQ of 60 is given this privilege to make people laugh, make people happy, just slightly, a bit, make the world a bit better. For them, it's a privilege. Yeah.
Looking back now, how did he?
I'm looking back.
Looking
I don't know what you're talking about.
Looking back, I still
Yes.
look back. Looking
You also look back.
Looking back,
Yeah.
how did he change your life?
I tell you, he got me to places I never thought I would get to. He's met dignitaries, he's met royalties. I've appeared in front of the ministers, and then Phua Chu Kang has called them by first name basis. Yeah, and they laugh. I tell you, even overseas, right? I was at the charity dinner in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and the guest of honor was Prime Minister Abdullah Badawi. Phua Chu Kang goes up. Hello, Prime Minister. Sorry, I want to say to you first. My Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew want to say hello to you. Hello. Good. Hey, Prime Minister, very sorry. Nowadays in Singapore, now got cannot speak Singlish. So my English must be very good. They don't like to say. They say I cannot say la. They kind of thing le or ma or me. So all this cannot say So I very sorry, Prime Minister Abdul Badawi. Your name got the la. He laughed. He laughed.
That's fantastic.
I said, yeah, very hard now. When it's raining, I open my umbrella. Cannot say. And the irony is that later DBS will come out with DBS Pay lah.
Oh,
What?
I know. Laugh.
Wow, they can, I cannot.
Yeah. You know, as a comedian,
Yeah.
people always assume that you're always very happy,
Yes.
right? Is
Char Kway Teow.
is that really true? And I'm sure you've had your own struggles or emotional struggles. How have you gotten through them?
I always like to say that all of us have different aspects, different emotions that come to the forefront. The difference is that for me, I can't show the others. I don't have the privilege or the space to do that. When I do that, like the Char Kway Teow example, you say, why are you so angry? Why are you so sad? I'm not. I'm just normal, right? So everybody has different spectrum of emotions. I go through the same as well. I mean, there are things that have hurt me a lot, things that have angered me a lot. Yeah, I've gone through all those emotions. Like when my parents passed away in 2001 and 2003, my mom and dad respectively, it was the hardest time of my life. And it was the hardest time to be a comedian. How do you be funny when...
You just lost your parents.
Yeah, it was tough. And when my dad passed away, I took the opportunity of the Star Awards, the Chinese Awards, and the Asian Television Awards, because I got my award then. Use that platform, as I said thank you and all that, to say, hey, my father just passed away. So if you see me on the streets and all that, I'm not going to be so larger than life. I'm going to be a bit, moody or something. And even then, when I remember to the streets, people would say, hey, Gurmit, hey, how are you? Because not everybody watched the show, right? So it was tough. And I had to give them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't watch the show and therefore they didn't know better and they were just expecting the wrong.
But you still had to respond.
I still had to respond. And then if I couldn't take it, I just go to the car and cry. I was sad for 4 years. Bitter, angry. Bitter because as a child, I had an ambition, one of which was to take care of my parents when they're in their old age. To have a chauffeured limousine for them at their beck and call so that they can get into the limousine and go anywhere they want to, anytime. Because I felt as a son, I want to provide for them. But when they passed away, they robbed me of that opportunity. And I was very upset with myself, upset with how things turned out. For example, if I passed the house my parents used to live in, I'll just break down and cry in the car. So it took some time to really all in. Yeah.
And what are the lessons that your parents have taught you?
They were the kind of parents that did not say, today I'm going to teach you about kindness. This is what you do. It was more how they lived their life, right? My father, he was a kind soul. He had this vibe somehow when you enter the room. He always would give somebody a second chance, benefit of the doubt. My mom was about perseverance, about hard work. She's the kind that, worked 12 hours shift, come back at 10 p.m. And what does she do? Household chores. She would clean the windows or cook rice for tomorrow and do laundry. And I say laundry, I don't mean washing machine. I mean manual. My hand. Every single garment. Step, 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 step. Rinse, 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 rinse. And I remember asking her one time, why don't you rest? Why are you doing this? And then she just said, if I don't do that, who do? And man, she's so street smart. I tell you this story now. We went to Tiong Bahru Market, needed a bag because my bag was tearing apart. And I saw this bag. I said, baby, this bag is quite good. I think I want to get this one. Uncle, this bag how much? My mom asked. And the uncle said, this one, $24. And for us, it was expensive for us then. Then my mom said, oh, fixed price can make better or not? Cannot lah. Okay. What price you want? Then my mom said, $12.
It's half the price. Slash it half.
50% sale. And I look at my mom, are you nuts? Where did you do your math? and uncle said, sister, cannot lah. 24 go to cannot. Okay, best price. $21, I give you $21. Then I look at my mom, okay lah, that's kind of good lah. Then she said, come, let's walk. Oh man, walk. I'm like, mom. And suddenly you hear uncle say, okay, $12.
He gave it to you for $12.
Yes.
What?
After that, I never doubt my mom again.
Wow, that's incredible.
She's such a bargainer.
Oh
She's so
my.
good. She's so good. Yeah.
If you could say something to them now,
Wow.
what would you say to them?
I guess, well, first I'll say hi. How is heaven?
I'm sure they're still listening to you.
Yeah. I would ask them actually, not so much say, but ask them, I hope you're proud of me. I'm still doing you proud. Yeah. Because for the longest time, I felt like the black sheep of the family. My sisters were very smart. They did universities, masters and all that. And in secondary school, they were top 10 of the class or the cohort. I was top 10 from the bottom. So one time my mother even asked me, how come you're not clever as your sister? I said, well, mom, because when I was born, I left my clever genes inside your stomach still.
Oh my God.
So that my sisters can be clever. If I came out clever, they'll be stupid. I was joking.
So you're sharing lah.
Yeah. And I used to be ashamed of passing my report card because I know I would have failed in their eyes, and they must have been thinking, this guy, alamak, is our only son and look at his grades and not doing well. And I also started thinking that my grandfather was a watchman, my father is a watchman, I'm going to be a watchman too because I'm not going very well. And I remember as a 13-year-old boy praying to God saying that, God, I don't mean any disrespect. A jaga or a security guard is a good job and all that, but I know how my father is struggling to make ends meet and all that. So when I have a family, I don't want to be a jaga. I want to have a good job that can provide for the family. I just thank you, God. And waited.
Now at 60, we usually as people, we usually think about, I need this, I want that, things like that. But have you ever thought about what you truly deserve?
What I fully deserve?
What do you feel you truly deserve? We don't think about what we deserve. We always think about what we want and what we need.
Right. Wow, that's so self-indulging. Because of my inferiority complex, I truly believe I deserve nothing at all. I do recognize that I need me time. For the longest time, I was slave to work and slave to doing for others, right? But, looking at studies and what they found was that if you don't take time to recharge and reboot yourself, then you're no longer as effective as you should have been. And that caught my attention, oh my God, I've been doing it at, at a certain percentage. I could have gone more, but because I didn't take time to, be myself, recharge, maybe go for a spa, maybe go for a motorbike ride, or maybe go for a walk or go for a swim, something that's just me. Back then, it was like, oh, you're such a selfish dude doing a me time. But I think a lot of people now, what with all the mental health and all that going on, I think that's one of the areas where we need to focus on, where you probably have gone too far out for other people. You've forgotten about yourself, and that's where your mental health problem comes in, because you have not rested your mind, your soul, your spirit, and you don't know who you are anymore. You need to come back to you. And I think that's important. So what I need once in a while is me time. What I deserve? Nothing.
Is that why you stepped out?
Step away.
Step out. Stepped away from the limelight, after...
I stepped away because I started feeling that I was losing grip of the reality of my family. So I left in 2015. 2010, I started thinking, how can I leave this job? My worry was that if I leave this job, I won't be able to provide for my family, the lifestyle. I was very happy to be able to give them the house, the cars, and then every holiday we go on business class. And my son enjoyed business class, especially him, because he would get into the airplane, and then let's say Singapore to London, right? 13 hours flight. I've lost my son for 13 hours. He'll get in there, he'll plug it in, then he'll scan what movie and what cartoon to watch, all that. Then he press intercom, and then he'll call the stewardess, and then you can hear a voice, "Can I have some milk?" "Thanks." He calls and then he orders everything. The lunch, the dinner, the
Well, he's
drinks.
really living
He's
it
on
up.
there. And so I start to worry, how can they continue to enjoy all this if I step out of the full-time contract? My worry was that as soon as I'm out of the full-time contract, I'm no more an employee. They have no obligations to use me. I have no income. What do I do then? I can't do nuts. I don't know anything else. And it was only in 2013 when my third one was born that I started thinking, okay, now I really have to think about it. Because the first two went through a phase where they hardly saw me. So I started thinking, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And my son, when I talked to my kids, I said that, if I leave the station, we'll have to take some sacrifices, right? So I
Smart
used
question.
the biggest pain of all. I said, no more business class, right? He thought for a nanosecond. He said, but Dad, if it means having more time with you, it's a no-brainer.
Oh. Wow. That's...
Yeah. A lot of this time, we as fathers think that this is how we can provide for family. But actually, what we need to provide is the time with them.
All right. So now it's SG60. You're 60. Singapore is turning 60 in August.
Yeah. You know what's the story behind that, right? I was born in 1965.
Okay.
Singapore independence also 1965. I was born in March.
Singapore is August.
So not to boast, after I was born, Singapore said, okay, guys, we're ready now. He has arrived. Gurmit is here. We can go independent now.
Yeah.
Oh, rubbish. We got kicked out by Malaysia, isn't it?
Yes.
Lee Kuan Yew cried and all that. Oh my goodness.
Now, you grew up together with Singapore, 1965, right?
Yeah.
So you've kind of seen how she's progressed and all that.
Yeah.
What makes you most proud of her?
Singlish.
Singlish?
True and true. Every time. I tell you, when I say I'm an advocate, I that's an understatement because I really believe we should embrace it. Right? I also feel that what we should be proud of is that Singapore has done nothing no other country has done, which is in one generation, we went from underdeveloped to developed country. That is mind-boggling. People say, yeah, you're Singapore, very small, very easy to manage. But
Yes, that's a common.
But at least we managed. We could have been complacent and just be, a very lazy fishing village. Right? But I have to say this, there's a caveat. What is a peeve for me is that while we develop so fast, I feel we are losing a lot of our history.
How so?
One example is the Van Cleef Aquarium. It's gone. What's there now? Car park. National Library.
Oh,
What is there now?
Tunnel, yeah.
Come on. I mean, there's some things you should not touch so that our great-great-grandchildren can go back and say, that's where my great-great-grandfather went to school. Because the National Library was practically the library that every student will go through. At least pass by or get a microfilm or take a picture of something, right? Or borrow a book.
Yeah.
So I get it, we are short of space, but I still feel that there are some things we shouldn't touch.
Certain places.
Right?
Now, what reminds you of home? Like when you're traveling, what keeps you grounded?
You're going to be annoyed at this, but Singlish. Because there's no better way of identifying a Singaporean when you're overseas
Traveling,
and you hear a Singlish.
Okay lah.
Yeah. So I was in San Francisco in the mall and I was just minding my business. And then at the back of me, I hear, this one got discount one.
And you immediately
This one
know.
got discount one. Who says that?
Yeah.
Maybe a Malaysian also, but Singapore, Malaysia, you can kind of feel
Tell the difference.
Right?
Yeah, you can tell.
This one got discount one. Yeah, turn around. Hey, Gurmit Singh. Hey, hello, how are you? Singaporean. Yes, okay, I knew it.
Okay, so before we end, what would you like to wish Singapore for her 60th birthday?
I wish Singapore continued success, prosperity, but with a lot of peace thrown into it. There's a lot of turmoil going on in the earth now, the planet, and we cannot be complacent that it won't come to us. So we have to remember that our forefathers came together and no matter what language you spoke, no matter what religions we had, it's very important to remember. Don't break apart what our forefathers have built with their blood, tears and sweat. Yeah. I sound like a politician.
Yeah, that's why I say you should.
Vote for me.
Yes, vote for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
It's been great. Thank you so much. And to our audience, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Open House. And if you like this episode, please share it with others and also leave suggestions to future guests that you would like to see. And of course, follow us on our socials. Remember, for every question you have, there's a guest out there with the answers. Until next time.